In this video, I want to quickly touch on how to find and open the Meridian 59 room editor and a few things you can look at in there. I'm certainly no expert on this. So this is really just a tutorial on where to find it and the general layout of the application. So if you have the code base pulled down, I will link to the video up in the corner and in the description. You'll find yourself in the project folder that looks like this. One of those folders is called Room Edit. If you go into Room Edit, there's an application called Windy32. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but just open that up. And this is your room editor. It's doing a little something there, but when that completes, now you just need to find a room file, .roo. So I'm going to go ahead and open a room file, and it begins the initial directory, or default directory that the application opens is room edit. So you want to go up one to the root of the project, find yourself the resource folder, which has a rooms folder with all of the game's root files. And I'll just pick TOS. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. And if I open that, you can see the layout of the city. I don't know my way around this very well. I know some of these can help you zoom in and out. You can change the modes. So right now I'm looking at things. I believe those would be objects positioned in the world. But I don't see any, so I'm not exactly sure what this mode is. Vertices. This is all terminology from the 3D world. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. If you are, maybe this will make sense to you. Line defs. This is generally where I have found myself in trying to resolve texture errors that people find. So if you click on some of these lines, which equate to a wall of some height in the game world, you can see down here, actually, as you hover over them in the bottom left, these panels tell you a bit more about that line definition and the textures that are used and some of the options. So let's say, for example, a wall is missing a texture or a wall has an incorrect texture. If you find the corresponding room file and you open it up and you double click that wall, you'll see information here, and you may see that, it's using TOS B wall when in fact it should use the TOS B FWC texture, whichever that is. And you can use some of these controls. You'll have to experiment with this a little bit, but use some of these controls to change that. And there's other things you can do too. For example, the sewers and some of the rooms have scrolling textures like flowing water with different speeds you can set. There's different options here for transparency, and I'll kind of leave it to you to experiment with this stuff. But once you make those changes, you're going to save your file. And once you save your file, you're going to compile the project again. Those instructions are in the video I linked previously, linked in the description. Once you finish compiling, you need to make sure that your server is running the same version of the room file that your local client is. So what you're going to do once you compile again is go to run. I'm sorry, actually, you're going to go to resource, because you just edited this room file here. Go to rooms, find the room file that you edited, then go back. You're going to go to your compiled local client under run, local client. And this is the application you use to test the client locally. You're going to go to the resource folder and paste that root file. One thing to remember is that as you continue to develop, room files are not kept in sync here. So if you go back and make another change, you need to copy it again. If you want to revert to another branch of the code base, those room files are going to be out of sync. So you may periodically have to clean this folder up with fresh resources. That's it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or catch me on Discord.